All right, welcome into Market Day Report. I am Scott Shellady, otherwise known as the Cow Guy. Thank you very much for tuning us in. Let's get right to your money and these markets. Let's see what we've got going on. We'll start with the grains, and that's going to be corn. 3 3/4 cents lower here, which is a little bit of a better market than it was the last time we visited. Dees trades 486.5 right now, right? It's a couple cents off the lows of the day, about a nickel off the highs. We're 4 cents lower right now, 486.25. Dees corn last. That's not too bad considering. Let's move on and see what the beans got stored for us. That's a higher board, 5.5 cents higher, 12.92.25 is last there, about 12 cents off the lows, and we're about a penny off the highs. So that should build a picture for you. 5.5 cents higher in the day, no beans, 12.92.25. That's last. All right, moving right along from no beans, we'll go to the Dees wheat in Chicago. 5.25 cents lower there, 5.82 is last. Just under a dime away from the low of the day, but we've got a 6 cents from the high. So I'm going to call that in the middle of the day's range, 5.25 cents lower. Again, 5.82 is the price. That's Dees wheat in Chicago. From Chicago, we can go on to Kansas City and see what's going on there. That's the hard red wheat. A nickel lower there, 6.65 3/4 is last. 6 cents, 5.5, 6 cents from the highs. And I don't know, about 6 cents, 7 cents from the lows. So 5 cents lower on the day. Dees hard red wheat in Kansas City, 6.65 3/4 is last. If we move over to the spring wheat, that's in Minneapolis. That's a dime lower pretty much across the board. 7.27 3/4 is last. A nickel off the lows and a dime off the highs. 10 cents lower on the day. Dees spring wheat in Minneapolis, 7.27.5 is the price. And let's take a quick peek at cotton. 72 points lower there. 83.01 is last there. 44 points off of the low. That's good enough for us to get to our next guest analyst. Let's bring in Tommy Grisafi. He's with Advanced Trading. I believe he's in Valparaiso, Indiana. Tommy, thanks for being on the show. No, Fargo, North Dakota. What are you doing?
We did a little switch. We jumped in the station wagon and we came up here. Actually, I want to thank you for letting me borrow the Scott the Cow Guy jet. That was awesome. It saved me a lot of time. And,
yeah, okay.
Congratulations.
Well, it's just one big seat. That's all.
Listen, I don't know why we were laughing or if we should be crying because the world's a mess. I mean, look what happened yesterday in cattle. I told you a month ago, I said, listen, it's like, the cattle market, it's like a life vest. Just put it on. I'm not saying the boat's sinking. I'm just saying, in case it sinks, you'll have the vest around you. Yesterday was that sinking day. That was horrible. A lot of, let's talk corn and beans real quick. It's really wild to see corn down 5 or 6 and beans up 5. And that's been happening a lot. I feel like every time I get ready to go on this show, one's moving up, one's moving down. Real quick, I'd much rather be long 485 corn than 510 corn like you could have been a few days ago. So last Thursday, the corn market exploded. Dees March exploded. As a farmer, that's a sell level. As a speculator, I don't know what's going on, but I don't want to own 510 corn on a 40-cent rally off the lows when we have over 2 billion carryout. Now, as we approach 480, 485, I had a client call a little bit ago, said, hey, I want to buy back some bushels. Much better day to buy back bushels than last week. Now, that doesn't mean we can't go much lower. We can. And beans, same thing, Scotty. What did we trade up to last week? 13.20. Now, last night we traded 12.81. 40 cents. And to be honest with you, with all the volatility happening in all the outside markets, it doesn't feel like grains are even busy. I want to ask you a question because I don't know the answer. When I was driving up here last night, I sold some mini Bitcoin. I have no clue why Bitcoin's trading 34,000 an ounce. Do you have any ideas, my friend?
I do. I think Bitcoin's caught a bid for 2 big reasons right now. One of them political, and the other one, well, I guess they're both kind of political. The first one is, the central bank digital currency, where the government's now going to pay you, not your, the government's going to know everything about how much money you make, right? They're going to have a track of it. Everything, your whole life is going to be an open book. I think that as much as I don't like Bitcoin, I'm not a fan. I've never put any customers in it. I think that's got a lot of folks running to Bitcoin so they can hide what they're doing away from the government, because the government won't be looking at what they can't right now see what Bitcoin's doing. So it's kind of this anti-central bank digital currency thing, which is already out there. It started in July. But if the central bank digital currency takes off, the government's going to know absolutely everything about what you spend your money on. That's one of them. And the other one is, with all the strife, the geopolitical issues out there, what's happening with Trump running for president and all the indictments, it's got a lot of folks nervous. And the only really other place that they trust, which they don't think is going to have all of that mistrust thrown at it, is Bitcoin. So it's got 2 reasons why. Can you imagine if we have a president that can't run for office, he somehow gets thrown out because of some trumped up charge. Whether they are, I don't know. But there's some people that think that would be a really bad sign to the Western world, and that would cause a lot of calamity, and they want to hide their money in Bitcoin. So those two reasons, I think, are the underlying things that they're not really writing about a lot in the press.
You did great, Scotty. Let's take a break, and I'll have you back on the show.
Okay. All right, man. That's a good point. You've got a good mental clock, because they just told me in my ear, we got to get going. Tommy's talking too much. All right. Stay right there. We're going to go away. We're going to pay some bills. We're going to come back and talk more livestock with Tommy Grisafi. He's in Fargo, North Dakota. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back. Thanks for tuning us back in here. Let's take a look at the other side of this market, which has been moving around a lot. Some big ranges today, folks. Live cattle, let's bring up that board real quick. December is up 85 cents now, so it's come back a little bit. 179, well, here we go, 72 cents. 179.07 is last. Look at the range on the day, though. That's over $4, right? It's a big range. Not a small, not a big change, though. 72 cents higher. Now 65 cents higher. Boy, it's still moving around a lot. Fab's up 17 cents right behind it to 181.15. Let's move on to the feeders. Feeders also a little bit better here. That Nove contract up 60 cents to 236.40. Again, big ranges today. That's a $5 range over there in Nove cattle. Jan feeders are up 12 cents to 235.82. So Nove feeders up 37 cents. Jan's up 12. Big ranges on the day, though. Let's get back to the lean hogs and see what that looks like. Well, that's going to be decent. It's up $1.05, right? Buck on the trend. 67.22 is last there. Let's bring back in Tommy Grisafi. He's in Fargo with Advanced Trading. Tommy, thanks for sticking around. Boy, there's a lot of movement in the cattle market still today.
Yeah, absolutely. Real quick, I want to go back because we got off on the Bitcoin thing. First notice day for November beans. My brother Joe Grisafi, who's also a commodity broker, Advanced Trading, who's watching right now. Hi, Joe, older brother. He said, don't forget to tell folks that first notice day for November beans is October 31st, which is spooky, as you know. But it's important because there's a lot of grain that's been delivered to elevators, and it's going to have to be priced or rolled or something. And it's a time when you see a big swoosh in the grain market. Real quick, back to cattle. Absolute train wreck yesterday. We never know when it's going to happen, but you could feel that we could not keep up that intensity forever. The worst thing about the cattle break was that the interest charge and the amount of money used to raise such an expensive pound of beef is going to come back to haunt the cattlemen. I think we've seen some great times the last few years. There's still time to protect. It's not too late. The world's a mess. Let's hope it gets better. But commodity prices are extremely volatile across the board. Bitcoin up, cattle down, crude down 250, stocks up. Extreme volatility as we come into October, which is usually a volatile month. Back to you, my friend.
All right, great stuff. Great timing again. You've got a good internal clock there, Tommy. Thank you very much for being on the show. Tommy Grisafi from Fargo, North Dakota with Advanced Trading. Bring it back here to Nashville, and I can throw it back over to Suzanne.